Quick. Hey, Rev. Well, it's Sunday, 25th, January 2026, and it's about nearly 3:30 in the morning. It's about 3:26. It's cold out here in the West Coast. Bit nippy, but not as cold as the East. I don't know if you said anything about my videos during chat yesterday. I'm going to have to review. I didn't publish them yet. I've got another one sent out already. Closer to what I was talking to you about. It's hard. It's very hard to walk the Christian path. It's easier to succumb to that level of hatred, anger, and violence. It's too damn seductive. And then again, walking across Christ's pathway and what he endured. Ours, or shall I say mine, should be nothing. After reacting and seeing what the hell happened. And then hearing the blatant lies coming out of how that crap was supposed to be. There's a lot of similarities that I'm seeing. A lot of similarities. When Christ was brought over to Pontius Pilate. Pilate was representative of the Roman Empire. Christ was already beaten up. But he still was intact enough, I think, to see Pontius Pilate. And Pilate's going, I don't want to deal with you. Herod's your race. Why are you dealing with me? Get him out of here. The empire didn't want to deal with anything of Christ because he wasn't that much of a threat. Pilate didn't see it. Of course, he saw a rebel rouser, but it's who else would come to Pontius Pilate except for a major pain in the ass. The others would have been dealt with on a lower level of the Roman Empire. Centurions would have had field days. Maybe they would have brought it up to Pilate if it was a major thing, but Christ being brought up to him, and Herod sees it. Herod wanted to disprove the fact that Christ was the Son of God. If I was going by some of the Hollywood theatricals on this one, including a song and dance routine, but Herod, I don't think, was in that kind of a mood. Now, if he actually heard from the Pharisees on this one, from the high elders of the Jewish nation in there, one would think that what the priests would be telling them would be a hell of a lot of crap. Probably similar lies that we're dealing with right now, Ed. You were mentioning something in the church yesterday about hypocrites. Ones who think they know every damn Bible verse. They could quote it out and prove that they're worthy of God's attention. That they would represent God in that way. And for those who don't know about faith or religion or about what the Bible had to say. Or would they be ignorant? They'd be against God, wouldn't they? They'd be against Jesus. I hadn't read all the book. There are a lot of portions in the book I didn't even pay attention to. I don't know if as a kid. Yeah, I did some of the Old Testament stuff, but didn't quite figure it out, fathom it, or anything. So I got it. In the New Testament, I was reading because I was hearing church sermons covering that left and right, Christ's life. And it's not just me going to one particular church, like I kept trying to tell you about First United Methodist Church of North Hollywood. How my brother and I were raised in a Methodist church. Well, I tried to follow the religion like crazy, but she wanted it for the rest of her family. I don't know if Ma actually believed or not. And we never talked about faith in our home. We never talked about Christ or going through Bible studies or anything. We went through life. But as a kid, as a child growing up in a household that was going through a lot of turmoil, you had to have some kind of stability in your life. There was a guy on television. I think I talked to you about this one a long time ago, dude. Robert Harold Schuller of Hour of Power. Back in the 60s, the guy used a field of oranges, and a drive-in theater became his Sunday pulpit. He started his ministry in there, the Hour of Power ministry, and bought property and built the property of his church, and televised locally, which grew into international and bigger facility. And then he had controversy after that. Financials and God knows what else. And then he had to duck out and the son had to take over. Property gets sold over to the Catholic Church and they turn it into one of their own. But it's still intact. The buildings are. And the church went back to small time. But while he was building up his empire, he's writing memoirs left and right. He's writing books. And I'm buying a couple of books. And one of them was the Be Happy Attitude books. And this was based off of Christ's Sermon on the Mount. I read that book many times. I'd listened to his sermons. Got a few pieces of article too. My grandmother had to watch it because she couldn't get over to the church. And they watched it until she passed. But they never did step into the chapel like my brother, mama, and I did. That was a big place, too. Impressive. My family would watch the Christmas and Easter specials in there, at least once or twice, if they could afford it. I buy the merchandise. I do the donations and buy books if I had to. There was a guy named Norman Vincent Peale. Power of Positive Thinking. It was the basis of Schuller's ministry. I lost that damn book, too. I hated when I lost my library a long time ago. Damn. Because those books were necessary. But I had them buried alive like the worms they are, and never saw them again in my youth or in my adulthood. But how much he meant of his interpretations of what Christ was. He came across as the most enigmatic. He was a force of nature. But he wasn't there to put the force of God down your throat and say, I'm the representative of God and I'm telling you. Not that kind. He was easygoing like you. You would have liked this guy. If his viewing tapes are out there, dude, I suggest you and Anaya do a search on this one. If he had one of his sermons on there back in the 80s and 90s, or maybe even the 70s, they'd show you what he was like. He had my attention. You have my attention now. But back then, I was listening to him. I was trying to hopefully be what God wanted me to be in the first place. The decisions, the choices. I'm not trying to be confrontational with anybody. But then again, I was trying to avoid people like crazy. Being a kid. And then being socially awkward. Trying to deal with adults and other things. But they stuck in my heart. They stuck in my memories. Maybe somewhere around here I still got relics, but they still mattered. Maybe there's a coffee cup and a letter holder. Letter opener, I still have. It's not the jug, it was about the things I was hearing and experiencing and questioning left and right. Like I'm questioning these days about what their appropriate responses are to all this damn insanity got voted in. What is the right course of action? And Yosemite was it. If Harold Schuler was here, I'd be talking with him about this one. If Bob Hillman was here, I'd be talking with him about it. If Joey McDonald was here, if John Nagel was here. John Nagel will put you to sleep, but his sermons are okay. Bob Hillman was the excited one in that time of ministry with John Nagel over at the First United Methodist Church in North Hollywood. Back in the 80s, the early 90s, they were powerhouse. In the 90s, they had Joey McDonald. Didn't try to put anybody down, but, he was a nice guy, too. You would love him. You would love all of them. My inspiration, Reverend Ed. My inspiration. Maybe some of it did stick in my head and crawled around there and mutated into something. I don't know. But I may not know the Bible entirely, or word for word, or verse for verse. But there are some elements in the thing I still stuck by. Not great. Not the greatest in it, but, I tried. I tried to do that. I don't know if I'm an inspiration. I'm not looking at that. I'm looking to see if I'm... What does God want me to do? What would God like me to do at this point over here without going thermonuclear on people left and right? I wish I had the empathy as I saw two ladies doing to an ICE agent, trying to save this guy's life. After they incarcerated them in the back of a truck or in the back of a car. And that's the other thing. They got cited, but they saved the guy's life. Acts of these. These are acts of what Christ would want emulated. And we're having a hard enough time trying to hold back our anger and our anger over the politics of the mistakes that we've done. And the thing is, we're not even admitting it to ourselves, Ed. Accountable, transparent, responsible. We did this shit to ourselves. But we can't admit it to ourselves, now can we? We can't. We're too ashamed of it, too much of it. But we can blame the other guy for it all of that anger. In my adulthood, I had gone into 12-step programs. I had learned about 12-step. It is still a constant basis, constant revealing and revising. The big book of Alcoholics Anonymous in its pure text is still out there, downloadable. The hardcover is for sale, sometimes in bookstores and also in meeting halls, and in special stores. In my heart, I'm still part of it. Still part of recovery. And yet, I picked the alcohol because it was the closest thing that the alcoholics saw in me. And I got welcomed in. I kept identifying myself as an alcoholic. I was trying to say in nature, but I'm not. Well, maybe I was. Maybe I hate the taste of alcohol. I never remember tasting alcohol, except maybe one time. I never did like the damn stuff. Well, I know it twice. Hot toddy for one time, and the other one it was about San Fernando Valley Fair, tasting Budweiser for the first time, spitting the shit out. Yeah. But the effects of the damn thing affected my family down the line. Generation above the line and down the line. So yeah, I'm part of it. I'm part of 12-step. I'm part of AA. I'm part of recovery. And part of that they were dealing with was elements from Christ and his teachings. I'm not perfect at this damn thing, okay? I'm doing the best I can for living at this point. And there's a lot testing our faith, and my response is left and right. I'm not looking at the ego where I've got a small following over here I got to worry about. I'm trying to worry about I'm being the best human being I can possibly be at this point over here and trying to keep turning it over. I'm physically, mortally wounded right now. And tomorrow, Monday, I got to get a ride, somehow, over to wound care to get it taken care of. And I hope to God that they're going to be gentle with me. Because I sure as hell don't want to go through another debridement. Or debridement, they call it. Cutting out the flesh, the old flesh and rotting stuff, to leave the new flesh grow. I have to keep enduring the antibiotics that are tasting and changing my body a bit. I got sores and tendons right now. That's the antibiotics working. I got my taste buds screwed up. My sleep pattern's screwed up. What else is new? Now, me going up on a thermonuclear tirade at this point over here, which probably would be part of my nature to do it. But the nature I'm growing up under. Would he approve of it? Would they approve of it? I got people upstairs still watching over me. Maybe Gandhi is too, I don't know. Maybe Christ is still watching over me. I hope God's watching over me. I know the family's watching over me at this point over here. If David was down here, man, he'd be going thermonuclear at this point. He would want me to be his voice. And maybe I would. And at times I had been. As much as I'd go for a domestic terrorist, I would consider Christ being a domestic terrorist. Only his role of terror was scaring the crap out of the Roman Empire and the Pharisees of his time, because he didn't do what they wanted him to do. He was on a mission from God, of love, of caring, of kindness, of taking care of people left and right. And what are we doing right now? We're turning that into the most evil damn thing. You're a domestic terrorist. You're against the country. You are against God. Yeah, who's your version of God? Huh? Who's your version of God? Because I sure as hell ain't the one with the damn gun sticking and pointing at people's faces and blowing them up. And then you're walking away laughing your asses off. And you're muttering your asses off. Or murdering a guy in cold blood after he's trying to protect a woman from your wrath. We are seeing the Pharisees and the Roman Empire right now, Ed. Right now. And Christ is holding us back on this one. Because he knows. He knows. And he doesn't want us to go through the damn thing. He doesn't want us to live by the sword. Because we will die by the sword. And as I've been trying to indicate to you a long time ago in my videos, and I don't know if you and Anaya had realized it, the sword comes in many ways, including in the form of words. I'm always Christ using mostly words. Hell of a lot to think about, isn't it? Oh dear God Almighty, I wish we could talk. Not gonna hurt my vibe. I'd rather talk to you, dude. But there's a lot of people clamoring for your attention. It'll be up to God's will or not. I need that link. Unless I can talk to one of you about it. From Aldous.